I'm having fun with my post OS upgrade. It seems that the music's not going to pass through correctly. Let's see if I can figure that out. Well, just wow. My loopback is not doing it. Um, Sorry for the delay here. So I'm logged into Pretzel. I'm trying to configure it so that loopback will capture the audio and feed it directly through. Now, for whatever reason, it's not doing it. All right, let me try something else. Let's say I select pass-through as my input source. Refresh. Not a, all right. Well, let me fix some stuff. And over there for a minute. This pretzel thing has really thrown me for a loop here today. Good morning. Let me fix some other stuff, which normally I spend that 5 minutes not messing around with Pretzel, but fixing some other stuff. Ooh, 364 days streaming so far. All right, hopefully this is the last one we do word wrap on, though. Because I do grow tired of word wrap. All right, toss out some of those announcements. There we go. Ta-da. Okay, I'm gonna spend just another minute trying to get the music going, as this is bumming me out. All right, let me try to launch Pretzel again. I'll choose the output device. Audio output device. Got crisp, but no Pretzel. So if we choose internal speakers here, it's fine. All right, well, sadly, I think we're gonna have to not have so much audio on the stream today. This is gonna bum me out. All right. If I choose a new virtual device, can I get Pretzel just like that? Oh, I can. Let's turn that one off, turn this one on. All right, it's working for whatever reason. That is gonna drive me nuts. Can y'all hear it? I hope so. All right, let's go. And away we go. All right, so we've got these tokens here. Now, I reworked this a little bit last night. So if we come back into lib, we start to look at what we have. Right here, we've got word wrap. We just tell it to wrap. We give it some text, space, and the font face. Right, that space is the maximum space in EMs. Hold on a sec, let me drop this. Good. Now, when we go into wrap, you'll see that we've got these tokens. We have with character width here. Good morning, Wardley. How are you? Word unwrap. Will we be implementing word unwrap? No. No, that one's easy. I think it's already in the standard lib. You just join. I'll join. Yeah, they did the easy one. Those laziest standard library developers. All right, so here we have characters with width. So I split this up. So now we produce measured characters. I'm doing good. Graticos. How are you doing today? Happy Wednesday. It's today. Oh, shoot. It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. I looked at the wrong calendar today. I woke up. Got up. Okay, so I do have an early meeting today. That's not too early, though. I thought it was Wednesday. That feeling where you just lost a weekday. Like, I had made it one more, and now it's gone. Justice is a dish best served cold. If it were served warm, it would be just water. Ah, nice. Now, I'm going to take just, I don't know, hopefully to 30, 40 seconds here. Worldly feels. Let's see. Oh, we've got a lot of jokes in here. Now, is that a zero? That looks like a zero. Or is that a capital O? There we go. Hey, Togglebit. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Raiders. Well, we're gonna have fun with word wrap today. That, and I just found out that I lost a day. I had to go back in the week. I thought today was Wednesday. Now I have to go and redo Tuesday. Derflorp the brain. Oh, it's supposed to be an L? Gotcha. Well, thank you, Togglebit, and take care. Alta 4, yes. So, for those of us just joining this, we're actually working on a game. Uh-oh, Capitan, where's Capitan? That's right, I rebooted my Pi. Let's wake up Capitan. I know, either that or it's Groundhog Day and I did Tuesday already. That would be a Tuesday. I mean, how many times have I redone Tuesday? I don't think it's that many. Hopefully just the one. All right. Yeah, I get to live longer than anticipated. I know, right? All right, so I woke up Capitan. And today, we're working on a portion of this psychological thriller game, an audio-based psychological thriller. So the UI is actually very simple, but I need really great-looking fonts. So I've gone through using TTF Font Parser and the Lyon Crate to create tessellated fonts that I'm using inside of Godot, and they look just fantastic. And the next step is actually getting word wrap for variable width fonts. So we're working on that at the moment. And in this example, you can see we're doing word wrap. We give it the text, and then the width in EMs, and also the font face, because we need to be able to measure. Now, inside of here, we've created a couple elements. We take the text, say with char width, giving it the font face, and then tokenized white space. Now, we implement with char width 4 stirs. We take a reference to the string and the font face, and create our new character width iterator. Right? And that produces a series of things that we call character width. So we have the character and then the width. Now, the next stage of this is tokenized white space, where it looks at the tokens, it looks at the characters, and let's see, same sort of thing. We have a trait, it's implemented for a kind, something that produces character widths. And this produces tokens. Now, tokens lost a little bit of the data, and this is the part where I think I need to change this. Tokens lost not the width, but which characters were represented. And the characters needing to be represented is actually needed in the next part. So we either have to pass through the slice that this token represents, which would not be bad, that wouldn't be bad at all, or the characters themselves. But the reason that we need those characters is for the case where a word is longer than the maximum width. So let's say you had a maximum width, and it's like this long. Right? You say, okay, it's going to be just that big in EMs, whatever that is. And then the word is like blah. Somebody just smashed some characters in there. Well, you have to split this. So we would need to split that there, right? So we're trying to handle this little edge case, but we have to know how big each of the characters is, in order to do the word wrap and subdivide this word. Because it gets a little weirder, because what if somebody said the, and then that? We would really want to split there, and then here. So we can't just split long words by maximum width. We have to know where they are in context. And then we have to know how wide each character is. So, given that, we need to pass through a little bit of extra data. And it could be that we just include that in the conversion from char token or char width to token, as we do include the width. And we have the start and the end of the quote-unquote token, which is the whole word in this case. And the token kind is a white space. Well, actually, token kind isn't white space or not. Is this a required token? Is it an optional token? Or is it a new line? All right. So it's gonna. Ooh, look, I have an MN. Yeah, we're gonna reset that. All right. So again, word wrap, call wrap, start building up elements. The next part is what we call tokenized white space. We get all the white space tokens, well, the text broken up by the white space. But then we want to be able to subdivide that even further based on the width. So this wrap at, am I using wrap at? Where is wrap at? I think I got rid of wrap at. Then we had line builder. Yeah, we were just modifying line builder. This has gone through so many iterations. Now, I'm going to bounce around just a minute. Character width, options. Options is gone. Something's a little off there. Character width, right? Which just shows us the characters in the width. Word wrap. It's kind of the top level element. White space, breaks it up. Tokenize and line builder. Oh, partial token. That's where it was. Partial token. Oh, no way. Oh, Tommy Luca, that sounds terrific. Pretzels with spicy cheese mustard sauce. All right. So this partial token iterator, it needs to know how to split these. Okay. And it is given, let's scroll down just a little bit so you can see the iterator. So it's an iterator that takes, that wraps another iterator. Basically some iterator that's wrapping an iterator, fairly common in Rust. Now it's expecting the item of the iterator to be a token. However, when this thing gets called, you don't just call next, you also say next, and this is how much space I have left. And then, if it has a broken up portion, it'll return that, it'll process that. For that example we had earlier where everything was really wide and really long. What is this font? This is Gira code. Oh, you're welcome. All right. So let's go ahead and toss a little test module in here with a test. What do we want our test to be called? Let's say just simple, like a long word. Oh, your Hackintosh survived the upgrade to 11.2. Oh, very cool. Nice, Tommy. And there's also the pretty.files. You want a better example of prettier .files. All right, so we're going to grab a little bit of boilerplate here. Line builder for reading the font information up. I take that. I forgot where it was. I'm going to be a dirty code copy paster here for a moment. Okay. Now, in this case, we are going to create one of these things. This is a partial tokens iterator. Open core being set up correctly seems to be an extremely good thing. Yeah, dirty copy paster. You know, when you're going to touch as many keys as I have in my lifetime, you get a little dirty. All right. I need some water. So if we do this, we just have one really big long thing. We say, what was the thing that we put there? Ah, with char width. Okay, nice white space. All right, so this is what we need, and then hours, which is this partial tokens. Not a pro code though. Professional Hello World printer. Oh, it's funny. All right, so we have our space remaining, etc., etc. Now, we need to create one of these partial tokens. I think I just create a partial token iterator. I didn't really create a constructor for this thing. Just the trait. Now let's see if we can stamp out one of these. With partial tokens. Now this is going to take excuse me, probably self, and we're just going to consume self, and then we'll produce something that implements partial tokens. Now in this case, do we need to... Right, hold on a sec, let's go back up to white space. Yeah, we return a white space iterator. Okay. We'll get a partial token iterator, which I do not think takes a lifetime. Just a type, just a kind. Ooh, interesting. So we want this to be... Oh, a joke. Let's see. You create a Java class, public class woman. Why? Knock knock. Race condition. All right. So in this case, we could have that, and then we impl this. Okay, impl with partial tokens for in this case we need T or T, where T is an iterator of Iterator of token. Okay, I think that'll work. We own the with partial token. Actually, we have them both, but not iterator. What's the difference between Java and JavaScript? Java and JavaScript are similar in the way that car and carpet are. Oh, that's good. That's good. What's the opposite of a hot pepper? A little chili. Da-dun-ch. We need some audio sound effects on this. All right, now in this case, we're going to implement this a little wrapper so that we can just continue to chain these. Partial tokens iterator. And this needs, hold on, we need to provide the max width here. Max width, tokens, which is self, and then partial is none. I'm looking at this down here. We do not have any partial tokens yet. Oops, we need to know which property that is. It's tokens. Expected type parameter t. Found type parameter t. We have two type parameter t's, sadly. One was shadowing the other. Which means we then have to pass this through here. There we go. And we can add that here with partial tokens, and we give it a max, let's say 3,000. Most of let's say 3 is good because I don't think A is actually less than 3. A is wider than 3. Let's say 1,000, just to make sure that the A is going to be too small or too large. We'll rename this to tiny width. Okay. What is width char width? Oh, it wants a font face. Okay. Import that. Good. Now let's save this to partial tokens. Let partials equal, and we will take a partial piece. We will take a token from that iterator and see what's inside of it. So in this case, the space remaining, I'm going to say is the same as the other, same as the width. And then we will assert. I kind of want a test utility for these tokens. Because if I have to give it exactly what the token is, we're going to be using matches. I don't really want to use matches. Because I don't want to have to come up with all the extra stuff here. Some things in token might actually be specific to the font that you're using, right? The width itself. And I'm not really testing for width. I just want to know that the character is correct. So here, well, we could do this. Not like that, though. We will assert that this matches. Oh, wrong order. And we'll say token, and then that. Oh, we could do a partial. You can lead in this pattern, can't you? We'll say that matches token. You're feeling extremely lazy at work today? Oh. What do you do at work? Can I not delete that? Expected expression. Found identifier. Okay. So this wants kind, start, end, and width. Kind is going to be required. Start is at 0. End is at 1. I think these are actually looking at the number of bytes. If we were using something that was, let's say, 3 bytes wide, this would end at 3. And what was the other one? Width. Oh, I have no idea what the width of an A is. Let's say 2500. Just make that up. All right. I think we're going to comment line builder out for now. We're going to go to lib, comment out line builder. And word wrap. Uh-oh. And most of this here. What else? Partial token. Tokenize. Ah, yes, we didn't implement split at yet. We will in a moment. We'll just say it's unimplemented. Okay, now, when we get to the point where something needs to be split up, right, I want this to be, we should be able to substitute this. Because what if we aren't using English? Or what if we want to be able to split it using some sort of hyphenation crate? There's that other crate out there that has this hyphenation. Let's look at that for a moment. What's the license on this? Apache 2 MIT, cool. Features, embed all, yada yada. So you can know where the breaks are. That's an interesting way of doing it. Just keeping track of where the breaks happen. You're trying to compile WebKit GTK on your Hackintosh. Why WebKit GTK? So it'd be nice to be able to use this, but it does look like we have to pass stirs. But this would be really nice to be able to break it down and to know, okay, you can break it in these places and then have these as partials. That would be really nice. Because you wanted to compile the surf browser. Oh. I'm not familiar with that one. Able to display websites and follow links. It supports the X embedded protocol. Oh, interesting. So what makes this one better than the others? Or what makes it interesting to you? I mean, it appears to be. It's super fast? Oh, that's nice. Because they don't really sell it here, right? It is able to display websites and follow links. Ah, gotcha. It really is just lighter weight. Oh, interesting. I did that backwards. Let's change those. Actually, bouncing around a little too much there. Okay, let's go to token. Yeah, they are use size and the width. Okay. So I'll start this one is a U32. You can also do into on these. Wait, what's that say? Alright. That's a thumbs down on that one. Let's see. Mac OS X R path. I think that's actually specific to your build there. That doesn't look like something that's OS wide thing. So that'd be specific to building WebKit. That's odd. You can't go into U size for U32. It's there for U16, for U8. What? I don't see why you couldn't do that. anyhow, let's get this compiling so we can fix this. Say that the space remaining is really U32. Push that through. Excuse me, U size. Because the smallest U size in supported architecture is U16. That makes a ton of sense. That makes a ton of sense. Because embedded devices can have 16-bit embedded devices, so the pointer size is 16, which means the U size is 16. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mouse6. Which means that if I ever compiled this or that, it would have issues. Interesting. Huh. Oh, that's an interesting way to think about this. Because U size might actually be smaller than the U32s. So I might want to use the U32s instead. I so rarely target embedded devices. I hardly think about that. It's been a couple years. Yeah, we were doing soil moisture sensors and radios that communicate between them. It's a lot of fun. All right. Anyhow, so SplitAdd is basically going to be using indexes into something, which is why it was taking a U size. Now the space remaining, arguably, see, can't be larger than a U size. Because if you are on a 16-bit processor, and you were passing this string in, you only have so much RAM. How much memory can a 16-bit device address? They usually don't have very much. Oops, we did comment that out. That was in here. Yes, technically I just wanted to comment out this test. Almost there. Type annotations needed at this point. That returns a U size. cannot assign twice to a mutable variable. Total width. To immutable variable. I must have read that wrong. Immutable variable. Okay, good. Change it to mutable. I'm just trying to get this kind of settled so that we can run some of the tests. Ah, yes, this needs to be a take. We are taking the partial out of the option and optionally putting partial piece of it back in. Oh, I see. Now we have we're borrowing twice here. Okay. Self.tokens and self.process. So we have to extract this into a local. Will it add curly braces for us? It did. Wow. Oh, but it left a question mark at the wrong spot. Okay. Then I've been having this $sign thing. $0. Let's rename this. So variable name, this is going to be, I don't know, it's like the next token. Let's just call it token. Give that a save. All right, now we're into white space. And this is just the test, so we're going to comment these out. Because we're not up to that level yet. Okay, make that mutable. There we go. Does anybody have a good test runner for VIM? There we go, test. Let's see if they have any suggested here. Oops. Tested with CI. VIM tests. Oh, nice. You have WebKit building. That's cool. Rust, cargo test. Let's do that dirty copy pasting again. I can spell that right. All right, so we spelled that correctly. Toss these control mappings to the end. Test file, test suite, test last. All right. Now, that there is just a really big copy paste of the COC configs. There it is. There's the top of it. Oh, you know what? I should have done that over here. Close that. Now we should be able to just test this. And to test the nearest one, T, Control N. Come on. Test nearest. Oh. Now plug install. Oh, look at that. Ooh, that was quick. That was almost too quick. Now, how do we scroll inside of there? On NeoVim, the basic and NeoVim strategies will run test commands using NeoVim's terminal and leave you in insert mode. Oh, I see. You can also just press enter to close the terminal session and go back to editing. Alright, so maybe I should have set up a strategy. Huh. And which one did we want? NeoVim's not that bad. The basic is the default one. Oh, so it's already doing terminal on NeoVim. Well, okay. In that case, we don't have to change it, but we do need to know how to go back and forth. We'll have to switch into normal mode. Okay, so... Oh, I gave you an error. Oh, that sucks. How do we go into insert mode? Huh. Yeah, like Control U doesn't do it. I don't know. Page up doesn't do it either. So it leaves you in insert mode. So you can just press enter to close the terminal session and get back to editing. If you want to scroll through the test command output, you have to first switch to normal mode. Oh, so I have to go slash control N. Oh, I see. Now that's not too bad. /n. It's gonna be a pain to remember. Okay, well at least we figured it out. Oh, yes, and this panic did not implemented. Tokenized line. And yada yada. Okay. Well then how do we exit? Insert mode, enter. There we go. Okay. Cool. Token mod line 32. Yes, split at fails. And this is where we need to pick up on the conversation at the very beginning. How do we pass the information that this function needs all the way through? Okay. Because we do not know which characters are what width any longer. So we either store the individual character width on the tokens, which we could do. We could do that. We could save a slice to that. Save that in an array elsewhere. Or we have it measure everything again. We know where the start is. We know where the end is. And we could ask it to split at a certain spot. I'm not really sure which way to go here. Because thus far we haven't done a whole lot of allocating. We're not allocating arrays or excuse me, vectors. Most of this is all by reference and sitting on the stack. That, and it's not consuming a ton of stack space because of the way that this iteration is working. I think I'm more likely to say, let's pass the text and the font reference in again, and we'll measure. It's a little bit of double work, but it should be fairly quick. Saves a system call. And hopefully you don't get into this edge case. Hold on a second. I'm actually talking to a friend. Yeah, you just got Starlink. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So we're going to split us at a specific place. Now, if we come back to partial tokens, partial tokens could provide the face data and the text. Or we just carry that through. All right, let's do that. It's going to make the tokens a little bit larger, but hopefully not terribly so. So that when we produce character width, we provide the other information that kind of came along with it, which is going to be, save this, next, get status, just stage that. Work in progress. All right. So let's include pub face. Oh, this is font face. That needs a lifetime. And then pub text. No partial equal on font face. Fine. Ah, you give up on Surf for now. Do they not have documentation on how to do that? I imagine that doing this on a Hackintosh isn't going to be too different from some other machine. All right.
The zombie T-Rex is back, undiswag with that old school rap. Cause it's Curtis Blow with that nerdist flow, getting pterodactyl fly on the track.
We need to pass through the text.
Can't kill me. Poison when I spit it. Komodo dragon, nerdcore royalty. Kimono dragon. Sesco Badalian loquaciousness. No rapper ever born did a rhyme like this. MC Lars with a rhythmic alacrity. Oratory skills causing mad catastrophe. The whole crew sick, like Kubrick. Got your eyes wide shut for this apocalypse. Let's face it, I'm an awesome rapper. Post-punk laptop velociraptor. And if I won't dumb it down for the mainstream fan, cause the mainstream fan has lame taste, man. Yeah, I said it. And I'm flying over hurdles. Keep it underground like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. See a funny thing happen on my way to the stage. Waylaid by a stegosaurus, snacking on my leg. When I made my escape, it was way too late. Got that T-virus strain all up in my veins. Bringing pain like the Necronomicon. Iguanagon loose up at Comic-Con. Tearing up your lawn like a Moklodon. Take away your girl like a Donkey Kong. Jurassic Park this van in your city every time I rock a show. Cause the fans all bounce when I light up the room with that pyroclastic flow. Yo!
Oh, I see. It's not meant for that on OS 10. The zombie T-Rex one. Alright. Too much screaming. Too early in the morning. I can't do that. white space iterator. Oh, it needs a T. What? Hold on, undo that. This needs an A or lifetime A. Can I do that? Binding associated type item references lifetime A, which does not appear in the trait input types. Okay. Which means that we need it here. And char width needs it. Now, tokenize whitespace iterator. This takes something of char width and provides tokens, doesn't it? Okay, so that does need a lifetime. Going to be a bit of this. Mismatch types. And to move out of self-define phase, which is behind immutable reference. Now, font phase, this phase, it just has borrow data in it. Is a lazy array. Or we could just have a reference to this. On font phase, let's go look. I think that's... Actually, I'm not sure. Miss.io. What I'm looking for is which functions on it require self to be mutable. Check the docs. Because we're using glyph index, which doesn't need it to be mutable, and glyph horizontal advance. Oh, does this require to be mutable at all? Outline glyph, that's for something else though. Okay. So we could just borrow this. All right, let's go back up to the top. Character width. Same thing here. All right, there we go. Pass that through. Let's borrow that. That should work. Now, tokens. Where's their font face? Oh, we didn't get to that point yet. So here in white space, we were creating those. We were going to include it with the rest. So that when we got to the partial, so that when we needed to get to the token partial, we do that. Do I know my way around CMake? No. No, I couldn't. If CMake were a paper bag, I couldn't get out with a chainsaw. All right, so let's work on partial token now that we've got that other idea working, which means that tokens. That's how you feel. Yeah. Okay, which means that we need the font for the token. Oh, we do need a comma. All right, and that's going to trickle through everything. Oops. And he's come on. Save it. Import it. Oh, can't find font. Oh, it should be face. That's right. There we go. So we can get to that. Now we've got a couple of these that we have to do. Oops. I was trying to be fancy. That just didn't work at all. Declared lifetime A. Ooh, of course. Yes, with partial token does not need a lifetime. Partial token iterator does. I mean that we have both of these that we have to do. And where's lifetime A come from? Here. On the partial token iterator? I mean, should it be on the iterator itself, or should it be... Oh, we need it in two places. One for the font, This is just like a virus. Alright. Let's fix it in white space. Oh good, if we already have... Is that the right lifetime though? Yes, yes it is. Because Charweth needs the same lifetime. Missing fields, text and font phase. What's not on white space? Iterator? Oh, it's on the char. It's on the char, that's right. Here, we can take it off of that one there, the char width. Alright, now into partial. Okay. Yes, that needs the same lifetime that token needs, just on the next line. That has to come from here. And that exists there. Oh, let's see, it's made it into the tests. What's mutable more than once at a time? Why wasn't this an error before? Next, obviously, is mutable. But why? I guess peak might be mutable, but... Well, obviously it is mutable. Interesting. Previously it could manage this. I think it's because these got added to the bottom. So if I take out text and font face, maybe it'll be okay. Yeah, that's it. Wow. It's because that lifetime ended up going further down. Alright, now we're missing some stuff here as well. On phase. Oh, it needs to be borrowed. and then the text, which for this test is kind of a pain in the butt. Oh, that's right. We didn't finish that. Where was that? Was that in token? We wanted to split. There we go. Now that we have everything in here for splitting this token, we need to be able to figure out how much of it fits within this width. Because this should really be a width. So we can take characters up to that point. Okay, so we're going to be creating 2 tokens. Is this not copy again? Oh, because token kind isn't. Oh, because I keep thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll want a separator or something in there. All right. So to split this, we need to know how many of these characters fit within that space. So we could either write that here, or we could use the self.text dot with char width and figure out how many of these elements work within that. So we'll just reuse the same thing as before. All right, let's start. It's going to be equal to 0. So we'll iterate through, and we'll break if the next one is too long. We want this to be peekable though. Or do we care? In this case, I don't think we care because we're going to throw away this iterator. We just don't update these values till then. So it's either that Or maybe we could use like a take while or something off of iterator. Oh, that's in TTF parser. The rest of the elements will be ignored. So we would, okay, that's not all that helpful. I don't want to split it, partition. That's also not the right thing. Because depending on returning true or false, depends on where your elements will end up. So I guess we could return true for everything that's before a certain thing, and that's nightly only. So we could return true as long as that works. But does that help us to have two iterators there? No, I don't think so. Because then we would have to actually inspect. All right. So we need to know where the first section of this string ends and where the remainder begins. So what are we going to be splitting? No, no, no. So those just pass through. The start will change on the tail, the end will change on the head, and the width changes on both of them. Okay. So we need to know the total width. We're going to have head and tail here. So that's what head is meaning to. It's like a list, right? You have the head of the list and you have the tail of the list. Index is going to be equal to 0 here. Because while this start, the index is going to be the offset. So we'll add that at the end. So we'll have two elements, let head. So these are copy, right? Clone, these are clone. Just clone this. Oh, we are consuming self. We could actually use self too. Self.clone. And let tail is equal to self. All right. Then for the head, what do we need to change for the head? The start and the width. It does start is equal to That doesn't change. The end changes for the head. All right, now the tail. Oh, these need to be mutable. Rulumogo, good morning. That's a great question. Why am I using self instead of a borrowed self? This you could also refer to this as like a shared self, like a shared borrow, or an exclusive borrow. You're taking it mutably. Now, what will happen here is that if somebody is calling this function, let's say we have let token equals something, and then we say token.split, and we give it some width. At this point, token has been consumed. It is no longer available on the next line. Okay, token actually, the ownership of token is transferred into the split at function. We're not borrowing it, we're moving it. Like it's now owned by the function. And then out of it, we'll get head and tail. Even though, like you and I know both, that self ends up becoming the tail, we pass it back through there. It's just a way of expressing that this variable is no longer used after you split it. Split at. We are consuming it. Does that make sense? If we were to borrow it, we could absolutely do that. We would have to then clone here too. But I think the way that the code should read is that token is being split. It's no longer usable after this. And we can enforce that in Rust by passing ownership in. It's a great question. Plus equals index. You're welcome. You're welcome, Trulumogo. Trulugomo, sorry. Trulugomo. You just stepped out of rotor. Rock, paper, scissors game with audio results on her phone. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's interesting. So the with char width. Oh, it produces an iterator. So this should be a dot next. Actually, we need to save that to a local. Char widths. Why does it? Oh, it takes a font face. Self.font face. And that needs to be borrowed. Which, okay, that should be the same type. Oh. The end of the head of this list is going to be previous start plus the new index. There we go. There's our head and tail. In JavaScript, if you would have told me 20 years ago that someone would do such a thing, I would have told you that no one would do such a thing. Yes, I think there's many things that if you would have asked 20 years ago. TikTok. All right, that's unused. This is unused. Now let's fill in the blanks. What goes in here? We've got the entry and the exit done. All right, so let next with, same sort of pattern we're using elsewhere in here, equal to head width plus char width dot width. All right, and if that is greater than width, we're going to break. Okay. Otherwise, we're going to update our state. Should be index and head width. And the index plus equals, and this is going to be char width dot ch dot utf8 length of utf8 there. Oh, interesting. Even Mac ports can't compile WebKit GTK. They might have a bug for that. Possibly look at their bugs. I think the character width on this is always a U16. Take a peek. So if we go back, no. TTF parser. No, not TF parser. TTF parser. Horizontal advance is a U16. Do we change this to a U16 just to match? Why not? Char width. Oh, look at that. That's prettier. Now in this case, the width of the head, like what if we had see. And this thing could get much wider than this, because what if somebody did have some width that was greater than 65K, 64K? We probably want this one. Next width. I feel like I'm doing some of these wrong, but we'll have to test this out on some small device and see. I'm actually going to pour some tea, so I'm going to take just a moment. There we go. This is apple spice today. Smells delicious. Yeah, because if we have a really long string, let's say the strings are, or the characters are, what, 2,000 or 3,000 EMs wide. I mean, that means we have about 21 characters. So if somebody said 21, we would overflow that. Not overflow, but yeah, we would have an issue. So we're using a U32 on tokens, plural. So we have much more space there. So it feels like when we are adding up the widths, we should be using something that's just one higher than the U32, or the U16. So the U32 should probably be here, because we're dealing with more than one. And in this case, the char width, this is going to be gonna figure it out. We just do an into. We can. Cannot compare U32 with usize. Yeah, that means that this needs to be a U32, because those sizes might not be 16 bytes. 16-bit, 16 bytes, oh, that'd be huge. head width U32. That should convert it into. And this is one way of doing it. And then if we change this, we'd get an error. The danger with doing as an underscore, that you can get into situations where the compiler won't tell you that the conversion is lossy. Although Clippy will tell you. Oh, that means you have to be using Clippy. Ah, incompatible type. There we go. Now the total width on the token can be a U32. This is a U16 for your total width. Why is that a U16? Ah, because we're just adding the widths to it. There we go. Alright, so back to our partial tokens. I don't think we finished this. Oh, there's our test. Oh, that was in token. Token split at. That's right. Which I don't like where token is living at the moment. Alright. Oh, and then we can put this back. Oh, perfect. I like this. This made testing easy. Because you could just test with stirs. Made it really, really nice. Okay. Back to our loop. In this case, looks like it might work. It looks like we're gonna have a couple splits. Split even. We need our fonts. Let's go grab this again. Should clean this up. Why didn't we have font data and font face being returned from the same read font function? Can we do that? Maybe. Font data will be equal to that, and we will return both font data and font face. the vector of U8s, and font. Let's see the face. Can we express that that lifetime is from there? Well, it's not complaining about it. Yes, and that is never used. It just has to be there because font phase refers to its data. All right, well, that's a tiny width. We're going back into tokens. That does look a lot better. Now we need a token. How do we create a token? Morning, Xenocron. So how do we get a token? I guess we just make one. Can we make one from just like a string? That would be useful. All right. So font phase. We do not know what the width is of this. So this is going to be an expensive setup. However, we do know where the start and end. Start, 0. End is going to be the length of the text in bytes. Love width. Remove the semicolon. Oh, kind. Kind. There we go. Kind. You're not sure if I'm still doing CDK things on AWS. I'm not, actually. TypeScript CDK does some really shady things. Oh no. Actually, I was looking through the Rust and some of the other Lambda functions, and they have a lot of downtime. Because usually a Lambda will be fetching things from other services in AWS, right? It's not doing a lot of CPU intense stuff. I mean, sometimes it might, but if you're doing Rust stuff and you have precompiled templates, etc., you could probably handle more than one event at a time. But most of the Lambdas that are set up are designed to only handle one event at a time, which means that you're paying for CPU that you're not using. What is going to be text dot? No, not that. With char width. Going to map that. And we'll sum it up. That should be that. Expected one argument. Oh, we need the font base. What? Fine. So what sort of shady stuff is it doing? You can tweak batching though, can't you? I didn't see that in the Rust one. I mean, maybe it's there. I just didn't see it. The borrow here needs the same lifetime. There we go. We read the font. Let token equal to here. Let's just do numbers. There we go. Token kind. That is required. And then the font phase. Okay, so now we have our token, and we're going to split and test our split. The types are just fake. For example, the SSMP parameter string value says it returns a string, but it actually returns a string token as any. Split at 5. Oh wait, split at. Now we give it the width. This is like the display width. I like that term for that. That's a nice term. Huh. Let's say we're splitting at 10,000. Because we're using a specific font, we're using Roboto. Your senior tried to do split 0, but it had no effect on the generated template. It still contained the full parameter value, resulting in permissions being given on the wrong ARM. Oh no. Oh. Ew. Oh wow. That is awful.
Yeah. I've been feeling good lately. And it feels good to feel good again. Yeah. Look. I wanna treat you like a 90s R&B song. No, it's only been a month, but I don't think we need long. Cause you got me out of my comfort zone, feeling comfortable in deep water, cause of shallow feelings and undertows. See, I don't.
Now, mismatch types, expected unit, found, people. Hold on a sec. Robocalls. Alright. So this split at, which split are we using? Yeah, the one on TTF word wrap. That's my crate. Okay. Yep, staring at the screen too long. Ended up with something like select 0, split. Oh wow. This split. Oh, I didn't save the file. I didn't save. Ah, yes. And here we go. This is why we can't do this read font this way, sadly. Is there a way to express this? Let borrowed. Whatever the type is. So you leave the type. Grumble, grumble. All right, let's go back to the way it was, sadly. Mismatch types, yes. Just copy these over there. There. Oh. There we go. Get rid of that line only. Good. So now we have head and tail. We need to know what they assert to. We'll say 1, 2, 3. Head. Two string. Because we implemented display on our token, wherever that is, here, we're checking, we're basically ensuring that start and end are correct. And the self.text is the right buffer, the right slice. I have no idea what these are going to be. Let's test that. Oh, it went all the way up to 8. Wow. Okay. Well, let's drop that to 5,000. Split even. You know what? 5 characters there. 5 there. Test again. All right, 1 off. 1 character. Oh, and right is incorrect. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, what? All right, we need to give it some more space. 6,000? I don't really know what the size is going to be. Okay, but that worked. the nice thing is it should be consistent for all these tests because we're doing these comparisons against the EM width, the width in EM of the characters. Now let's test another one. Okay, now in this case, we're going to say that we want 1,000, and this should be 1, like so. So I think 1,000 is too small even for the one character. Oh, I have to give it a proper name. Too narrow. But let's just give it the number 1. There we go. There. Ah, okay, so we didn't get even one character. It's 0. And that's not what we wanted. We wanted to at least give us one character to fit within this space. Or do we? We only wanted to do that. Oh goodness. If the maximum width, if the line width is a certain way. So I guess this is working correctly. Okay, we can work with this. That works. Too narrow. And let's do a full width. I'll just give it some really large number. And we could optimize for this. Okay. All right, now that works. Let's also optimize that case. So if we ask for the split, and the token itself, if its width is smaller than the display width, we can just return without having to loop and do all the measuring again. Let's see if self.width is less than display width. This is basically going to be a clone of self. Let's see, okay. And we return. So that should work. No, I actually forgot. I want to run the tests on the whole file. Test file. So that's F, suite is S, last is L. Oh, interesting. So if you go and you fix some code, you can just test the same one again as last time. Test visit. I wonder what test visit does. All right, well, we want the file. Full width failed. That looks correct though. Did I make the test wrong? Oh, no, I did that backwards. That should be tail. Flip the comma. That's tail. And tail dot start is equal to tail dot end. Good. Okay, those passed. Okay, now that we have that, we can get to, is it partial tokens? Hey, thank you for the raid. 8-bit Skulldev. Well, thank you and welcome. How's everybody doing? And how was your stream? So for everybody that's new, we've got some commands here. If I typed that correctly, which I did not, it's plural. And today we are working on a portion of a project I call Control. It's a psychological thriller game. Yeah, doing well, doing well. Earlier in the stream I had this moment where I realized that it's Tuesday. I thought for sure today was Wednesday. It's either Groundhog Day or yesterday was a real Monday. Yes, tea. Earl Grey, hot. Yeah, Capitan likes his tea hot. Earl Grey. Okay. Now, with partial tokens, we end up giving this the maximum width. Let's extract that out to a variable maybe. Let's say the variable width is 10,000. And the remainder that's available left on the line is 3,000. It's freezing out here. It is. It's actually, I type with gloves on. It's 55 degrees in my office. Morning, Jumpin'. And yes, we are using Godot with GD native bindings, with the Godot Rust bindings. And we're working on a font wrapping. I wanted really crisp fonts in 3D space, so we used a TTF parser, that crate, along with Leon. And what Leon does is you can give it drawing instructions, and it'll tessellate a shape for you. So we're using those two pieces together to create some really beautiful fonts in 3D space. And right now we're working on word wrapping crate. Figured, why do this just for us when we could make it this portion open source? We're going to say that the next token is going to be equal to, let's say, AOEU string. Let's see, does that even work? AO. Actually, that might be the width of those. Nice. we give it 3,000? And for our char width, let's just... I want to see what the widths are for some of these. BBG, BG, CH, and then the width. Just for that test. Run that test again. Oh, look at that. We can see the widths on all of these. Oops. Oh, I forgot. We're inside of this. Bam. They're just over 1,000 wide, which means that 3,000 would not include the third character. Oh, that's nice. Okay. That works really well. Wow. So that's correct. And if we said we wanted another token, but we wanted to give it the full line this next time, because we have that much space. How far does this get us? Let's see, and if, how many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 in 10,000? That seems about right, because each one was about 1,100. Oh, the code, it worketh. All right. Ah. And then what happens if we have a very little space left? Something that's not wide enough. Not enough for a line or a single character. No default features, that's correct. Because Starship, GitHub, let's see, did they fix the bug? Oh, because if you do a bug report, yeah, this is still on master. You know what? It looks like they fixed it. They used to capture your environment variables. Look at it closed. Wow, it's a little slow today. Well, that's not very helpful, is it? But basically, they used to capture your environment when sending in a bug report, which is just horrible. Yep. Which is why I would always suggest no default features. It's in here somewhere. Anyhow. It looks like the code is different now. So they're taking very specific things out of your environment. Your AWS password. Just kidding. They don't do that. What we just saw. Look at the term program, LC terminal. Right. So very specific things. Get shell info. Where's bug report? Oh, this whole thing is bug report. Ah, wrong button. So yeah, much better now. Back to where we were. Not enough for a single character. So if we ask for 1,000, I would expect that we still get a U. If the remainder is too long. Yeah, this should be its own test. We're not going to do that there. So we have that, and we ask for 1. Goodness, wider than the display width. Oh, you know what? We might not need this test. Because we'll get enough to fill the buffer. Yeah. No. This is okay. We already did this test. It's basically the first assert in the previous one. Now, what if we wanted to say, hey, there's not enough room? Not enough room for a character. 500. Characters aren't that big. So in this case, we expect the unwrap. It should be a none. Ooh. What do we expect in this case? So we're saying, I have this much space left in this line. I have 500. Can you give me anything? It's going to say no. That's fine. Because it's not quite an iterator, this partials. It behaves similar, but returns elements depending on your input or not. Oh, it panicked. It's not nothing. Because we ask it to split at the remaining. Get a head and a tail. Ah, but this is going to be empty. Maybe instead we should be returning option. In which case that tail doesn't exist. This is a sum self. And if there's enough room for the tail, of course, we covered that in the first case. If everything is moved into the head, there is no tail. Alright, however, we did not handle the case where there is no head. Where, let's see, head width is 0. Because if it didn't change, we're not going to do the rest of the mutations here for these. Couldn't find any turns that fit in the display width. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. I think you're the first person that commented on it. Well, you know, there were some comments on, oh, it's different than it used to be. Welcome to the stream and happy Tuesday. Alright, now we need to fix our tests. So our tests are going to fail. Alright, now when we do get the split, we can actually match this now. Go ahead and match. Because in the case where we have a none sum, we're going to save that. We're going to keep it for next time. So I save that, we return nothing. Okay. Now in the other case, oh, that should be partial. There's nothing to save, so we just return the partial. We don't have to remove anything from our stored partial because I think we already took that. So we'll return that. And in the third case, where we have some partial, let's say, the head and the tail of this list. In this case, a little bit of both. I don't know. That's backwards. That should be, we store the tail and return the head. Missing match arm. Non-exhaustive. I thought I got all of them. Oh, none's not covered. And that one shouldn't exist. That's interesting though. What do we do in that case? I mean, we could just say it's unreachable. Alright, now to the tests. We needed to unwrap that earlier. Unwrap. Alright. In this case, it's too narrow, so we should have is none. If none. How did you do that? Who knows? I don't think it's possible though. Now in this case, we should have both of these. Both exist and are strings. Untrap. Wow. Unwrap. Okay. Run all of the tests. Good. Tokenize and partials worked. Now we were in white space, weren't we? Or we're using partials in here? White space iterator, chart width. Ah, no. This one's fine. However, we do have these tests, which we had commented out for a little bit. Var name. Why did I do that? Oh, because each one of these is not the right type. So the white space iterator wants what? Peekable characters. Just peekable chars? T, where T is what? Chart width. Okay. Yes. Now we need the font face, etc. And make it peekable. Now we should just have the argument error. We can go back to our other test and grab our font. Now each one of these needs the font stuff. You recall reading textbooks that told you that comments are for preventing the question. Now why did I do that? Yes, there's different ways that people look at comments. I like to look at it in that the code tells you how, but not the why. Yeah. Which is exactly what you got out of your textbook, but and sometimes if the code is a little dense, I'll put in the how too. Like all right, now this is going to be font face. What? Oh, you want that? You can have it. I can't clone the iterator. Why not? Because it's a white space iterator, and white space iterator plus clone only implements clone for where other things are clone. What's the error? Oh, all of the other places where, Okay, plus clone. And one for you. Any up here? No. One for you. One for you. Self-commenting isn't all that helpful when you're dealing with pointers and pointers. Pointers to pointers. Vague void functions and weird callbacks. Yeah. Oh, the char width iterator is not clonable? It should be. Okay. Someone please tell you what this is. We're currently working on word wrapping for the game I'm writing. So we're working on a crate, and hopefully it'll be done here in the next little bit. Because I want to get back to the more interesting game pieces. We're doing word wrap or TrueType fonts. Yeah, sometimes it's good to read your code the day after and add comments. Like, what? What is going on? All right. Let's start with font face and make it peekable. All right. Let's add these to our tests. There. What else? Do we have one more? Good. Okay. That's the end of those. But now, we need to add this little bit here to the rest of them. Oh, right there. Two more, or one more. Forget. Okay. What are we doing? So high level, we're working on a psychological thriller game, but I wanted really pretty TrueType fonts in 3D space. So we got some fonts tessellated, and then we needed to do TrueType font word wrapping, which is currently what we're working on in Rust, by the way. That with some tests too, by the way. Let's see, do the tests work? They might work. Oh, they failed. White index 7 is out of bounds. Okay. Let's take a look at that. New line break. Oh, T's been a command forever. since well before you added commands. Okay. That doesn't need to be mutable. We're going to just clean up some of these warnings. You're going to need font face. New is never used. On partial token iterator? Obstruct. That's odd. I thought we used partial token iterator new. I guess not. Okay, let's delete it and see if it cries. Take away its lolly. Alright, nope, it's not used. T does seem like the best one. Yes, yes, Rust does know how large the slice is. Yeah, some things it can do at compile time, some things it'll do at runtime. Using the index. So if you had boo and then you give it a number, this is usually, well, that'd be a variable and it would be checked at runtime. And if you're running a release mode, it would just panic. So if you wanted a safe way to get that, you would call get. So on the slice primitive type, call get, and this would return you an option. So instead of saying, hey, this is out of bounds, I'm going to panic, it would say, there's nothing there. Are those warnings like dead code part of the language? They're part of the tool set that Rust provides. So Rust provides Clippy, Cargo. Cargo is the builder. So if you want to cargo build and just build everything you can, you'll see that gives you some warnings. I've configured some of those warnings in the lib here. Where is it? Someplace we added some of this. Oh, I'm in the wrong file. Yeah, so we configured the compiler to shout at us for certain reasons because we're making a library that other people will use. So it'll cry when you have like public things that aren't documented, etc. And you can turn that stuff on and off. It's not required, but it will tell you if certain things aren't used. And it also comes with like a cargo clippy, which goes above and beyond. Yeah, it's all out of the box. I'm just, sometimes I need a little mental break and I just clean up some of these. Associated function is never used new. I thought we did use that. We used that in a test. Yeah, we used that down here. Oh, I see. It's because it's not exported. And when I say that, I mean that token itself is not exported from the library. It's an internal type. So when it looks at what's being used, that is not being quote unquote used outside of the crate. Let's move token. I've been wanting to do this for a while. This token is stuck up in this file. Yeah, token and token kind. We're going to take those, move them into a different file, and then export them properly. And these are tests for token. There's like nothing left in here. There we go. Let's fix the face issue it's going to have. Now we'll say mod token. And then at the top level, we could say of use token star everything inside of there. Oh, I put token at the wrong spot. Let me move that. It should be inside the source directory, and I messed that up. We'll rename that. Source token, good. Close that buffer. There we go, now we have token. Give it a save. Compiler's mostly happy, except we didn't include the imports from before. Our crates are more like libraries. Oh yeah, and the formatter is, I like the formatter. I like that I can just toss code at the wall and then Rust just makes it pretty for me and consistent with everybody else's code. Or pips, I don't know, what's a pip install stuff. Oops. Crate token. Gonna fix some imports because that messed a whole bunch of stuff up. All right, missing documentation. See, now we're getting these other warnings that I put on. Prettier.io is pretty neat too. Oh, for web, yes, I actually use that for my work stuff. I've got a big outstanding ticket for enabling that for everyone. And the triple slash is documentation. Kind of the token. Optional tokens may be omitted from lines if they occur at the beginning or end of a line. New line. Let's use the backtick so we get proper decorations. It uses like a markdown style. Where's the back? Okay, there it is. New line tokens. What's a new line? Now, in this case, what is a token? A token sure. Portion of a star. Now it's public. Now it's not going to whine about it. I'm right there with you, Xenocron. I wish JavaScript had something that was just so much more canonical. I mean, you have so many packagers, and some of them are fast, some of them are slow, and the slower ones tend to have more features than the fast ones. It's painful. I'm not a Webpack fan, even though I use Webpack every single day. Just, That I love Rust documentation. It is incredible. It's a new token. The holster. Given token kind and font face. Oh yeah, Togglerbit. Man, I love watching Togglerbit. Man, I love Rust. Rust, I can see why it gets voted like the most loved language. And I can see sometime, like in the next couple of years, I'd love to do this professionally. I mean, you're seeing jobs pop up all over the place, like in AWS, in Microsoft, in, in crypto. That's like the long-standing joke. It's just, are there any Rust jobs that aren't crypto or aren't like Bitcoin or whatever? And then there's swc.rs. This is the actual one I was able to get to work with Webpack for some of the transformations because we have CSS modules at work, and like nothing supports CSS modules except for Webpack. And this thing is insanely fast. So it's dropped our build times by half at least. And it would be even better once this actually supports CSS modules, because then I don't have to use Webpack. Oh, Xenocron, don't get me started. Oh, I'm walking away from this convo. This conversation's not happening. I think we have, okay, yeah, I'm stepping into the conversation. I think we have 4 different ways that we represent CSS in our code, which has been due to the fact that we have started to use Material UI, and that in cases favors using make styles and with styles. So that came into our code base, and anyhow, where were we? Oh, documentation. I'm not going crazy with documentation. I'm just cleaning it up in a couple places. Then we'll get back to the tests and making sure this works. Split at subdivides the token. Subdivides. At display with. There is not enough tokens. Okay, I figured out when it can do none. Oh, what's a stack exchange, stack overflow? I don't know. Go back. I want the latest ones. Survey. Here's a 2019 survey. I want that 2020 survey. 2020. Is it there? Here we go. So They asked a bunch of questions, which you all had to answer. By the way, if you didn't answer, then shame on you. Most loved languages. Rust, TypeScript, Python. Python's 3. Wow, TypeScript edged out Python. Who would have guessed? All right. Copy. Oh, what's the most dreaded language? Oh, there's a button right there. VBA. Huh. Objective-C? Really? Perl I could understand. I'm gonna let the dog out. Be right back. All right, we're back. C hated more than C++. I could understand that. I mean, C's got more foot guns than modern C++ does. Most wanted languages, yes. Oh wow, Rust is down here in 5th. All right, well, here, if you want to look more, I'll toss that into chat. There's all sorts of lovely information that people have divined from that survey. All right. Now, if they're okay, we'll get back into that. Now, I did figure out when this would return none none. And that's if the token doesn't have any width. Which seems absurd. Because, okay, I guess if somebody created one, it's fine. Or rather, if the start is equal to the end, because that's more accurate. I don't know. Because what if you had a whole bunch of characters that had no width? This would be if the start is equal to self.end. That I think works, because you could have a no width character that you still want to split, but it's represented in the slice. Good to know they misspelled terraform in that. Aww. Because we can't split that. We can't split that. Come on. Unimplemented. Oh, come on. I am BLEMENT. Why isn't the search finding it? I think I know where it is. Is it in white space? Okay, maybe I don't know where it is. Partial tokens. Here, unreachable. Oh, I said unimplemented. That's why we couldn't find it. So in this case, we return none, and we do not replace partial with anything because there's nothing to replace it with. Partial was taken out of at the very beginning, so we don't have to worry about that case. All right. We should probably move white space. Variable does not need to be mutable, yes. Little bike shedding. Getting rid of those warnings. Come on, come on. Inactive code. Sure. Cargo test. Alright, back to where we were. Fantastic. New line break. WS. Panics. Byte 7 is out of bounds. Of this. Oh. No. No. Okay, here's new line break, white space. That should fail. Good, that fails. Line 108. What? It says, oh, in source token 108. No wonder. Guess I want to know the stack for that with char width. On the survey, one of the answers to what do you do when you get stuck is panic. It's only fair. It's funny. Panic. Complimentary tells. Is that a Hitchhiker's reference? Alright. From slides. I think we need to do this with stack trace on. Backtrace. Test this, but we are only going to test new line break WS, anything that matches that. Man, the Hitchhiker series is great. I probably know way too much about the Hitchhiker series than I should. Breaks. There we go. Alright, so panicking, slice index, where token 108, that's what it was saying. Oh, it's doing a display. And start and end aren't correct for this. Alright, let's debug that. Well, so it's doing the display. ToString, yada yada. So this happens in white space 168. 168 here. Where we're collecting them into strings. I see, all we did. Let's get the white space iterator. Map those. $168, huh? Do we have debug on T implemented? On token? Token kind. Token does have debug. Let's debug that before we call the toString. And if you stick around long enough, I will read you some of my poetry. Alright, so the first one has a width of 1024. Oh, new lines have no width. Fine. That's true. And the spaces at the end also have that. Now it looks like we have 1, 2 here, and this should be optional. So those are these two spaces, 0 to 2. Now the new line, that's 1, 2, 3. I mean, do I have the 4, 5? Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters long, 5 bytes. Start and end deal with bytes. Width is really display width. Oh, sorry. All right. So where are we creating this? This is the white space tokenizer that is creating these. It's adding the wrong thing. This should be 4, 5. Are we getting like an odd +1 somewhere? Oh look, a +1. Let's remove the +1. Off by 1 errors never happen. Ah, okay, that worked. Now all the tests work. Great. That's off by 1 error. Okay, let's remove the debug, because we do not want to be debugging that all the time. Alright, now we've worked our way up to the white space tokenizer. We did that. We have the partial token iterator, which we've tested. Now, how about the line builder? All right. Now here we have default line builder. I don't want a default line builder. I just want a line builder. So we're going to get rid of that. Goodbye. Actually, no, I just want a line iterator. Here. Trait with lines. Ah, they're always public. Function lines x self. Oh, actually, we can't use it this way, can we? Because the partial tokens need something to be able to pass how much is left in a given line. We could still do that. We could still do that. Okay. So we're going to consume self. And we need to know what the maximum line width is. Du32. This will return some kind of iterator. A line iterator. Blocking pretzel rock shouldn't be a decision you regret. No, that's fine. Yeah, if you don't want those little notes there, that's fine. I used to do music, so I am empathetic to the plight of the musician. So if you do like something and you missed it, just ask me. I'll tell you what song it was. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of line builder. Kind of, maybe not. I mean, this is basically the code that we need. Alright, I'm getting rid of that. I'm going to impl lines for things that produce tokens. Impl t iterator for t, where t iterator item equals token. We're going to need lifetimes on this and some other stuff. Or it lives for a good. Do we have line builder commented out? Oh, we do. Okay. Oh, go ahead and block it. It's okay. Lots of people do. I do not think there's a way to filter chat. Just you can unblock them later. It's in your settings. It would block it on every stream that you went to because I think Pretzel Rocks uses the same account. Alright, now we need a line iterator. I'm going to rename this default line iterator just to line iterator. There we go. Now we should find it. Alright, and the type here of item is going to be a stir. Why doesn't it like this? Oh, missing lifetime. Yes, this was commented out before, so we didn't patch this up. All right. That looks okay. Let's get this one. Then we can take the contents of this one, put it in this one. Get rid of default line builder, which shouldn't exist anymore. Tokens is going to be self. All right, now we also need the max width. Oh, that's on next. This is not what I meant to do. I mean, it kind of works. I really wanted to input lines for that. Or T, where T has an iterator of these things. Yep. Takes the lines. That will always return a line iterator. Okay, but now we need the line iterator not boxed, just as it is. Missing lifetimes. All right, I think we're pretty close. We do not need this boxed anymore. That, and we can use T for tokens. Token needs a lifespan. And so does the iterator. Expected an item. Comma T. There we go. I guess technically it really doesn't matter if... Wait, line iterator, expected 1, found 0. Oh, because it needs type of T. There we go. That also needs a lifetime. T is not an iterator. Our type is slightly wrong here. This technically is a peakable T. And also where it's debug. All right, so given an iterator, a peakable iterator over tokens, we're going to produce strings, stars. Let's see, what else do we have down here? Some tests. The tests are broken. Let's comment those out. Reduce our error number for a minute. Okay, anything outside of line builder? Nope. Starting at 67. All right. Yeah, see, I think this just failed. Because it's not a peakable iterator that I want. It's actually a very specific iterator. I want a partial, what do we call it? Partial token iterator. I want her to be able to call next on it without it actually freaking out. Oh, but because of the way that this is set up, we do not need it to be peakable. It'll just return some or none. Okay, let's ignore the stuff at the top for a moment and pretend that this line iterator has not a peakable something, but a partial tokens iterator, or type T, where T here is an iterator. Yep. All right, so this really isn't iterator. This is partial tokens iterator. That's not implementing a trait, is it? I mean, it implements partial tokens. Oh, okay, so we could constrain on that. Where item is correct, okay. Does all right, now all of our constraints are wrong. Let's fix that. That I think is a little better. So self in this case should be oh, I did this backwards. I want self to be partial tokens, not T. Ah, but no, these two different ones. This is lines up here. That's line iterator down there. So in this case, if self is the partial token trait, or it's something that implements that, we will consume that and provide a line iterator. In which case, we get the line iterator here. All right, fast forward that one. Too much energy. Drama, suspense. All right. So yeah, that's peekable, but we don't need it to be peekable. At least I don't think we do. So we're just going to pass self here. All right. Now in this case, our tokens, we're just constructing this line iterator. What does T need to be? Do we need to constrain T? Our iterator. We might need to constrain it down below. Because a partial tokens iterator, well, it wants an iterator of item is equal to token. Okay, which we've given it here. Okay, that might work. That works, that works. All right. I guess we could make it peekable because of this here. We need to know what the first one is. First and last. Oh, grumble. I mean, that's easy enough to add. Either that, or we just start getting tokens out of this. And when the line is exhausted, we wrap. So let's pretend that none of this code exists. You know, let's really just pretend it doesn't exist by deleting it. Okay. So our goal here is to produce a line. What we do have is an iterator, a partial tokens iterator, and we know how much line length we have left. So we are going to say let width remaining is equal to self.maxWidth. All right. Now we're going to ask tokens to give us something that fits within this space, within this width remaining. What did we call that on the partial tokens? Oh, we just called next. Okay. All right. And now what does this give us? This gives us self item. That's not very helpful. An optional self item. Okay. So we'll while it sum this. And we should have the start, should have the end, etc. We'll also know what the display width is, so that we can take that away from it. start token is equal to none. So in here we have our token. We will replace start and end if they are not already set. It needs to be mutable. And then we will always just replace the end token. Self is not an iterator. Self is a partial tokens. Okay, so we still need the condition here. So we need T for both. Let's put T below the other one. Mismatched types. Expected partial tokens iterator, found parameter T. Oh, we have to wrap that. We have to create our partial token iterator. Oh, no wonder. Let partial tokens equals partial token iterator. Oh, no. This should have been created already. My mistake. So self should be partial tokens, which is fine. But line iterator, its T is expected to be that. I'm not connecting the dots. Alright, should be one error. Mismatched types. Self. Self is partial tokens. So when we have something that is partial tokens and we want to get the lines for it, self needs to be partial tokens. Why? We don't need the iterator. Why did I think that I needed the iterator? Because of the line iterator? Okay, maybe that's incorrect then. Because partial tokens iterator does... Will it work without the iterator? That's a great question. Because basically what we want is just some fun little trait. So we could say, we have something that, foo, that produces some sort of partial tokens. Right, like so. And that's what I want. And then I want to say lines. So I want to consume the partial tokens iterator and provide a new iterator that I'm calling the line iterator. So in this case, we have the wish with partial tokens. And this, I think, works correctly. We could toss that on there too, just to say, okay, you can only do this with something like that. Here we're implementing it for all things of type T. Kind of the same thing there. And if we come back, let's see, that's saved. There we go. Coming back to the line builder. All right, where self. Now in this case, it's saying that T is not an iterator. Does this need the iterator? Partial tokens needs the iterator. Or its iterator right here. I really don't think the other ones are as needed. I mean, really, we just care in this case, not that it's an iterator, but that it implements standard debug. This one only needs it because that one needs it. Cannot resolve macro self T. Oh, I missed the where. Then we come back up here. What's this complaining about? Okay, T is not in the scope. We need T. This should work. Okay, so if we do add T here, that should create it. Lines T. And this right here, mismatch types, expect to struct partial tokens iterator, found parameter type T. I do not want self to be T. Self is a partial tokens iterator. I don't think I'll have to call it with each one of those every time. Let's give it a check and see. This type parameter on line 12. See, the problem here isn't with this code, I think. Because here we've constrained and said, okay, self is a partial tokens iterator. If we go to line iterator, we want a partial token iterator for tokens. That looks good. And T is kind of secondary. T is not self. We haven't wired it up to self, have we? T is in there. Feels like we have some other constraint somewhere that's causing the error. This partial tokens iterator accepts a T, and this isn't constrained at all. So that one should work. Line 12, yes. Yeah, there's line 12 here. Is it because of the lifetime? I don't think it's because of the lifetime. So the ticks like that describe a lifetime, and the other things that don't begin with a apostrophe are types. So 12 is here. Oh, where t, because this is for t, which means that t is self. Ah, that's where it's happening. So we want to do this for everything that's a partial token, which means that lines. All right, so this is 14, yep. So that self on 14, I think, was confusing it. Because in this case, we're saying that t is a partial token iterator. Oh, we need two types. We need a t and a u. In this case, this t is u. We're implementing this for all t, where t is a partial token iterator. And this should be a u here. We need two types, not one. Can I define t after I've called it? No, the caller must define t. And in this case, for every type, where that type implements partial tokens, we implement this. Which means that t is self here. I mean, t should be, or self should be t, yes. We'll return a line iterator, which takes a u. Yeah, Rust won't let you decide the type after you've called it. I mean, you can do some unsafe stuff to do that, but that's not safe Rust. And partial tokens, just something that returns something of that item type, where item is a token with a specific lifetime. Yeah, I can't even print stuff because it won't compile, it won't run. That, and I got a meeting in a couple minutes, so we're gonna give it maybe 3 more minutes here, and then I gotta run. Okay, but we do want to return a line iterator. There's our line iterator down below. And you can see that we map this lifetime A type U to lifetime A type T down here. And this needs a partial tokens iterator. Oh, well, this is partial tokens, not partial tokens iterator. What does partial tokens give us? Next. And partial tokens iterator. Okay, so that's a problem. We're giving it a strongly typed thing here when it should be a little bit more loose. So this here, I gotta write this down before I forget. Because this is a trait, right? This partial tokens, where T is a partial tokens. That means what we're creating in this line iterator needs to be partial tokens as well. So really, this is more T, right? But in this case, T is a partial tokens iterator. I think we can get rid of U, I think. Oh, but we do need T. Yeah, we'll map that to that, where T is partial tokens. T is partial tokens there. Now down here, lifetime A is never used, fine. But this T here should be the same as up here. Basically, where tokens is a partial tokens. I think that works. Now line iterator. Yep. Technically it's down here where the error is on the iterator. Good. Okay, let's look from the top down again. Get rid of that. Get rid of token kind. Okay, so we have lines. Lines takes a T. And for every T where T is partial tokens, we can create a line iterator, giving it the partial token type. Now a line iterator here does not use a lifetime. We get rid of that. Means we get rid of it on this one here, but not every one. Yeah. I think it's needed in here somewhere. Yep. Yeah, it's needed on the iterator because we constrain this function to only exist on types where T is implements partial tokens. Comment it. I mean, it's clear, isn't it? All right, now we're missing some lifetimes. Line iterator. Okay, we don't need a lifetime. Means we don't need the lifetime here. Or here. But we have to constrain it with the lifetime. All right. Start and end token both need to be immutable. All right, and I gotta get going. All right, y'all. I've gone over. We're gonna do a raid. Scan, stream, science and tech for more Rust. Wow, Lana has beat out the Ducks today. Good for her. Is anybody else doing Rust? Oh, let's see, I follow a couple people. All right, we're gonna... I think we're gonna raid Anti. Yeah, he's doing Rust. Oh, where's the chat? There we go. So, Anti's doing some stream compositing software written in Rust. We're gonna give him a raid. So, I'm off to a meeting. Thank you all for hanging out. Until next time, bye-bye.